Tell us a little bit about, I guess, why we're all here. You obviously have a story to tell, dealing with, I guess, involving your son, correct?
Yeah. Our son, Alden, we had received a text message notifying us that there had been an incident where our son had been popped in the mouth, was the word that was used. We immediately went to pick him up and take him from the center because he obviously wasn't safe. And from there, we went to Adrian Police Department to file our complaint with them. That started an investigation that has now found that there's more children and more staff involved. And from there, everything has been an absolute whirlwind, trying to figure out how to live in this world now. Figuring out police and our care for our child and concerns for the other children that were involved, and just what now, what next, and why Alden. We're very out of the loop. We feel very out of the loop. And we don't know what's going on. We don't have the answers we need. So everything we're doing is just trying to figure out and do what's best for Alden, but not knowing what that is.
They've been, through the ringer emotionally, and all they're looking for is just answers. They have questions, and no one's answering their questions. They trusted a very professional organization with their special needs child, and they feel that their trust was breached. They were neglected. The child was mistreated. The family has been mistreated. They have questions. They still have questions, and they just haven't been answered, and they haven't received the information that they need. Just imagine, the situation. You have an autistic child, a nonverbal one, and a complete stranger hitting them repeatedly. It's the same thing as hitting an infant. There's almost no difference. So for them, it's been a tough situation. They've been cooperative with the police, but they have not received any communication from the center, despite statements by the center.
What was your guys' response when you saw the video of the apology? Obviously, it was sent to us for you guys to see. First of all, was it sent to you guys before that, but what initially was your first response after watching it?
I was insulted, honestly. We had not received it. That was the most communication we have received thus far. So it was really hard to watch. The resources or accommodations they've offered to us was just really hard.
Had we not turned on the TV,
yeah,
we wouldn't have seen that.
It was
not get on the computer or anything.
It was
They
shared
didn't call
with
us
us
personally.
on social media. That's how we got it.
So you feel like there's a huge disconnect, that it's their PR team and not a genuine response to you.
And just like we've said, we don't have, Alden can't tell us. He can't tell us. He can't tell the police. He can't tell anyone. We have no idea to the extent. We got to see a piece of footage that was very different from the message we were sent on what happened. And we don't feel that it could be an isolated event. It's not. There's other families, there's other children. And it's just, we have so many questions and no answers. And this is hard enough for us and for the other families, but our goal is for no other family should have to do this. This is just.
And tell me briefly, if you can, how did I know you've already gone through this before, but tell me somewhat of what you heard in a text message, what they told you, how that differed from the video that you were shown?
The text message we received was from the tech. We were never reached out to. We showed up to pull him. What the text message said was that it was pop in the mouth from an initial reaction. We saw several smacks. And the initial part was my son cowering in a chair to just her hand being raised. There's no way that was the first time. So that's hard enough to see your son get hit several times. But worse than that is wondering what happened before that to make him react like that.
And now, obviously you guys have your lawyers here, so maybe this is more directed to you guys. What maybe is the next step? ProMedica's fired their 3 employees that they're looking into. What maybe charges, I guess my question for you guys is what's next?
Well, there's an ongoing investigation by the police, and we respect that, and we're, just like anybody else, we're sitting back and we're spectators and waiting to see the results of that. There's really no anticipated step by the family, by us. We're here for support, and at this point, it's out of our hands.
And there are questions that we need answered. Alden is a nonverbal autistic child. Everything we've seen so far suggests that it wasn't an isolated incident. And if this has been occurring over a period of weeks or months, that's relevant to Alden's care now and in the future. And he can't tell them how long it's been going on for. And nobody from the center has really offered any more information other than, we think it was a rogue incident or a rogue employee. Well, the entire center has been shut down. To suggest this was isolated or only just occurred, we're not sure. The family's not sure that's the case, and the others, they have the same questions that we do. So we have questions, and we intend to get answers.
How is your son coping? Have you noticed a change in him since this had happened, or?
We had noticed, we're, as parents to a nonverbal autistic child, we're constantly playing the guessing game, trying to figure out what his behaviors mean, because he can't tell us I'm frustrated, he can't tell us I'm tired, there's that gap, there's that lack there. So there's absolutely been changes in his behavior, and we're left with all the questions we have, trying to piece together what all of those things mean, because he can't tell us.
And now ProMedica, in their apology or their statement, they said that they have been working with the families on finding new centers or finding new places. You mentioned the disconnect is, I guess, has that occurred for you guys?
We heard after calling and requesting our son's records to try and find new care for him. We were able to receive those records after a period of time to finally get those so that we can try to take steps that we have been taking to try and figure out a new plan.
How important is it for him to have somewhere to go? I imagine it's almost a treatment process, right?
Absolutely. So regression is something that all autism parents fear, is that losing and delaying and backward steps in the skills, and our kids thrive on routine, and that has all been taken from him. He doesn't have the services he needs, he doesn't have the routine and the structure that he has been used to and that he needs. We have no way of knowing how this not only is affecting him immediately in the regression of skills that he's having now, but what this will mean moving forward. That's hard, not knowing how long or how much this is affecting him.
When you were alerted to the, as they described it, a pop on the mouth, was that the day of the incident, or how far between the incident and when you were texted by that tech, so not really official outreach from ProMedica? What kind of time span was that?
From my understanding, it was a day prior.
We got
Found out the morning after.
And do you feel that partially because your son is at the point on the autism spectrum that he's on where he is nonverbal, do you feel like that he was possibly at a greater risk of this kind of abuse, or do you think it just was almost more incidental, or?
That has been a concern of mine. I mean, he's the perfect victim. He doesn't talk, so, and he doesn't express pain like we do.